Hello, everyone, and welcome to 0 to 0, a pointless football podcast for fans and non-fans alike. Where we pit someone who knows some football, that would be me, Fixer, against someone who knows absolutely nothing about football, that would be Talkus. What's up, Talkus?
Rejoice! I'm Talkus the Vibrant, and Skittles changed from lime to sour green, and I don't know about anything.
There you go. That's some important information going into the last week of this season where teams are jockeying for the playoffs. At least some are, many are not. Are you ready?
We're jockeying. I want to jockey. Hey, Fixer. If we were together, would you let me be your jockey?
No. If I owned a pony, maybe I would.
I want to be your jockey. I want to be jockey on you.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pass on that.
Aw.
All right, so our scores from last week, I was 12-4, you were 11-5. We had a pretty good week.
Woo!
Enough about history. Let's talk about the future, which would be Sunday early afternoon. Miami Dolphins at the Buffalo Bills. Both teams are finishing the season in familiar fashion, which would be a few games behind the Patriots. Word is Miami will release Tannehill after the season, and who are they going to bring in? I guess we're going to see in a couple months. The top quarterback everyone was waiting for, Justin Herbert of the Oregon Ducks, is not entering the draft. He's going to stay in college for one more season. That makes this upcoming QB class much less appealing. So I think they'll bring in a temporary solution, maybe like Nick Mullins, maybe Teddy Bridgewater. Who knows? Anyways, this is a toss-up game. Buffalo may want to tank to get a better pick in the draft. I'm going to go with Miami.
Tell me about the Oregon Ducks, Fixer TV.
We've already gone over this. I know nothing about the Oregon Ducks.
Okay, well, the viewers don't know that you've gone over this. I just wanted to show the viewers how ignorant you are. But I love the Oregon Ducks. They're my boys. Anyway, so I have this plan. Okay, so Buffalo is right below Niagara Falls. So the Dolphins, they're going to be like going down the river, and then they're going to jump over Niagara Falls. And then with their pointy, boss-nosy, beaky things, they're going to, impale the Bills. And it is going to be sick.
Is it now?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So you think Dolphins are going to win. Let's write that down.
They're going to impale.
Next up, the Atlanta Falcons at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Speaking of disappointing teams, we have two more here. Both finished well behind the Saints for the division. Atlanta has played pretty well the past couple of weeks, while the Bucs have lost 3 in a row, struggling to put up those offensive numbers that they were doing so early in the season. I'll go with the Falcons in another meaningless game.
Why did you say you would go with the Falcons, but in your little column here you say TB?
So I changed my mind.
Okay, look at you. Well, I have a theory here that the Buccaneers, they're going to be dressed. Vikings, they're all very browny kind of people. They're gray, they're...
Earth tones. I think the term is earth tones.
Yeah, earth tones, yeah. If they have any bright colors... It'll get it'll go down a bit. It'll be all earth tones, and I mean these aren't even Vikings. They might have striped red sails or something. I'm not sure about the historical validity of that, but they're just they're pirates. They just they go around trying to eat. They struggle, man. So they're all earth tones to put it in Fixie TV's little world, but. The Falcons, man, as we have established, the Falcons are vibrant.
Vibrant enough to win?
Yes, the vibrance.
All right, so we both picked the Falcons. Next up, New York Jets at the New England Patriots. Patriots need a win to get themselves home field advantage in the playoffs, and trust me, they want it. This team has been beat up and doesn't feel like the same kind of Patriots teams from the past. But they're still winning, and they'll want that bye and home game against or to help them out. The Jets, they would love to play spoiler in all of this. Darnold has been playing decently well, and he too would love to spoil the Patriots party, but they won't, and the Patriots will win.
Fixer spelled Patriots as Patrios, and so I'm going to make the joke that the Jets will eat the Patrios for breakfast. See what I did there? I'm clever.
Yeah, but it would have been funnier if you spelled Patrios as PATRI-O''S, but you didn't, so the joke's not as funny.
Yeah, but it's still plenty funny enough for me.
All right, Carolina Panthers at the New Orleans Saints. Saints have been have the top seed locked up already. They don't really have anything to play for. The rumor is that Breeze will play and Bridgewater will not. I don't buy it, at least not completely. Look for Breeze to play maybe 1, maybe 2 quarters, and then I think Teddy will come in. Teddy's basically applying for a starting job next year by doing so. The Panthers, they've lost 7 in a row, and Cam Newton has imploded. I think it's a little more than that. He posted a cryptic tweet this week that kind of suggests he had some sort of bipolar issues or some issues of some sort. He's a competitor, though, and even though they can't gain anything from this game or be a spoiler in any way, I'm sure he would love to close out the season with a win against the Saints. If Breeze leaves early, it could happen. I don't think we could count it as a lock, but I'm going to go with the Saints anyways.
Yeah, so we went over this a couple weeks ago, and there isn't really a patron saint of Panthers, so I thought the Panthers would just maul the Saints, but then 2 weeks ago they didn't. Well, there's probably some factor I'm not taking into consideration. What factor do you think that might be FixerTV at youtube.com/FixerTV?
One team has better skilled players than the other.
Yeah, but some of those players are giant cats that can eat the players that are monks.
Yeah, but they don't for some reason.
Yeah, I don't get it. I guess I'll go with the Saints. Whatever. No, I'm going with the Saints. I'm going with the Saints. Don't make my guess.
Your note says I still think the Panthers should win.
Yeah, I'm saying I still think the Panthers should win. I can't go with my gut. I made a hypothesis, which is the Panthers will win, and then evidence appeared that disproves my hypothesis, and so the hypothesis changed. It is the scientific method. Get with the times.
I am the peer review, and I say you're wrong. Dallas Cowboys.
You can't say I'm wrong. You guessed NO.
The Dallas Cowboys at the New York Giants. Dak was 20-25 with 161 yards and a touchdown. Ran for another touchdown and beating the Bucks. And 0 fumbles. Vander Esch continues to make his case for Defensive Rookie of the Year. The Giants lost a close game to the Colts last week. A lot of talk about Barkley losing to Mayfield for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think that's bupkis. Mayfield deserves second place, but Barkley is great for most of the season. At least most. Maybe not the last couple games. But anyways, last time these teams faced off was week 1 or week 2. I think it was week 2, actually, where Dallas won. They're both different, better teams now. Dallas has their division locked up, and the Giants will finish in last, but I don't think there really is all that big of a gap between these two teams. I think the Giants will love to give the Cowboys a black eye going into the playoffs. Giants win.
What is the etymology of the word bupkis?
I have no idea. I'm sure we stole it from some language.
I can't imagine a language saying bupkis. It's weird. I don't know, but fine. Diesel reminded me in the comments to look up the etymology of bupkis, but I think the Giants will win. I'm sorry, Diesel.
All right. Borrowed from Yiddish.
Oh. Well then. That's fun.
Yep. And there's many pronunciation or many different spellings.
Okay. Well, let's next time I go on a trip to Israel, I'll look it up.
There you go. All right, you picked the Giants. Okay.
Giddy up.
And you apologize to Diesel, right?
Yeah, I did. I always apologize to Diesel.
Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers. Another meaningless game. There are 10 teams in the league with 5 or 6 wins. That's a huge difference in draft position. Could pick as high as 5 or as low as 15. Surely there will be tanks, right? Don't be surprised that the Lions determined that the Patricia experiment is over. I think they're going to fire him. For the Packers, I think they like Philbin and he'll remain head coach. There are rumors they want former Lions coach Jim Caldwell, but I don't believe that at all. It sounds like a Rooney Rule to me. Anyways, Lions have been the same since they dealt Tate, and I think the Packers will win.
On Christmas Eve, I went to the Friends of the Family's house for dinner, as one does, and the Friends of the Family president had their own family over, and they were talking about the NFL, so I explained that I was on the podcast about the NFL, and I then explained how I had proven that the Dolphins would beat the Vikings because there are no freshwater lakes in Minnesota, and they were all awed by that and asked me my position of wisdom to give my.
But you were
my,
wrong.
my
The Vikings beat the Dolphins.
no, they didn't.
What do you mean, no, they didn't? The Vikings are my team. I know that they did.
The Vikings aren't your team. The Houston Texans are your team.
Nope.
So I knew that the Dolphins beat the Vikings. They were all very impressed by that. So then they asked me, how will the Lions beat the Packers? Because they're all big Packers fans, because they're all from Wisconsin. So I was like, yeah, the Packers will beat the Lions because they're going to get like the meat from the meat packing plant, and they're going to strew it around, but then they're going to drug it with like sedatives, so the Lions will eat the meat, and then they'll keel over and fall asleep, and then they will be butchered in their beds like the massacre. Hang on. Scotland massacre. Glencoe, like in the Glencoe massacre. There you go.
So the Packers are going to win by drugging their opponent.
Yes.
All right. Seems logical enough. Last early Sunday game, Jacksonville Jaguars at the Houston Texans. Houston needs a win and a Patriots loss to get a second seed in the playoffs. Hopkins is hurt and listed as questionable. Rumors are he's not going to play, although he himself insisted that he will be playing. In my opinion, no way he sits in such an important game. He'll play. Kessler was benched in the third quarter last week in favor of
Blake Bortles.
And they did beat the Dolphins, but it was mostly due to the defense, which had a pick six and kept the Dolphins to only 7 points. Houston
Wait, Blake Bortles is back? Blake Bortles is back? Woo!
Yep, he finished the game last week. Houston needs this win, and I think they'll get it. Houston wins.
When I saw you said third quarter, I thought you meant like the third quarter of the season, not the third quarter of the game. I didn't know the games had quarters. This is sick! Oh my god, my Blake Bortles boy is back! Yeah! Okay. So will Blake Bortles fight in this game?
Yes, the rumor. I don't know if it's been confirmed, but the rumor is that he will.
Man, this guy, he's like the Achilles of the Jacksonville Jaguars, man. He sat out the last few games because he had rage. He was swirling in rage, and then he had his mama, Cetus, curse the Jaguars so they would lose. But then once his boy, his Patroclus equivalent, Kessler, fell, he emerged like Achilles naked, and he emerged and he went and he fought the river, and then Hephaestus tries to pound him, but he was like, I'm not gonna be pounded, I'm going like a bat, and he's gonna be like, what?
So you think Mr. Blake Bortles is going to pull him out?
Yes, I do.
All right, Sunday late afternoon games. Arizona Cardinals at the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle has a playoff position locked up. A win would get them the 5 seed. Cardinals currently have the number 1 pick in the draft. A loss would solidify that. Seattle wins.
But the Cardinals are supposed to be right on the money. It makes good dollars and cents.
Yes, but a win would jeopardize their pick in the draft, so I'm not sure they want to win.
Oh. That's sad.
But, maybe they're cheap. The higher the pick, the more money you got to pay the person.
No.
So you know what? You can take that angle. If they get the number 1 pick in the draft, they got to spend a lot more money on the player than if they got like number 2 or 3 or 4.
No, I'm going with the Seahawks. I'm sorry. Your exile from Indiana has lasted too long.
All right, another 425 game, Philadelphia Eagles at the Washington Redskins. Eagles need a win and a Vikings loss to get to the 6th seed in the playoffs. They've beaten 2 good teams in a row since Foles took over. I don't think they'll have an issue with the Skins. Eagles win.
Yeah. I guess Thorondor, my boy, he's going to win. It's sad, but he will.
Chicago Bears at the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings control their own destiny. Win and they're in. If they lose, they'll need an Eagles loss to still get in, something that is not likely to happen. If the Bears win and the Rams lose, the Bears will earn themselves a first-round bye in a home game. And they're going to want that badly. This will be a good game. While I think Trubisky can be a long-term solution for the Bears, he is certainly their main weakness right now. Expect the Vikings to focus him. Both teams have their fair share of injuries as well. Eddie Jackson is out, and that's a huge loss for the Bears. Kendricks is out for the Vikings. Mack will have a field day against this O-line. And I think Stefanski is actually going to plan around that, unlike DiFilippo, who just like said, do what you want, Mac, and Mac massacred the Vikings last game. I think Stefanski will plan around it. Cousins needs the dink and dunk and get rid of the ball quickly. I think Jackson is a huge loss for the Bears. Vikings win. And if they do, these two teams will most likely face off in round 1 in the playoffs.
Brian said he cherishes me 8.27 out of 10. So what do you think about that, Fixie?
That's not a whole lot.
I think it's a whole lot. It's more than any other Strangelander. And also he's on the new server, BGN Network, and they're having like applications where YouTubers can apply to join. Do you think I should apply to join, Fixer?
I do.
Why?
Because you want to.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Well, let's see what Diesel has to say about that. Anyway, the Bears will win.
All right, Oakland Raiders at the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs have lost 2 in a row and need a win to beat the Chargers for the division title. This is a big game for them. Raiders would love to spoil a division rival, but I just don't think it'll happen. KC needs this badly, and Mahomes will lead them to victory. Chiefs win.
Yeah, Chiefs win.
Easy enough. Cincinnati Bengals at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers are in danger of missing the playoffs. They need to beat the Bengals, but they need either the Ravens to lose or the Colts and Titans to tie. The Steelers will beat the Bengals for sure, but I don't think the Ravens will lose, and the possibility of a tie between the Colts and Titans is near 0. Steelers win this week and are out of the playoffs.
Ooh, that's pretty sick. Maybe I should predict that the Colts and Titans will tie. Maybe I'm going to mind games you right out of this game. What do you think about that, Fixer TV?
I think if you predict that and it happens, then you win this podcast.
Really? What do I win?
The podcast.
Okay, so I can pick a prize of my choosing.
Yes.
Giddy up! Okay, Steelers win.
All right, Los Angeles Chargers at the Denver Broncos. Chargers need a win and a Chiefs loss in order to win the division and get that number 1 seed. Bengals aren't playing for anything. I don't think they even want to play spoiler. Chargers win.
Yeah.
Wait, Bengals, not Bengals. Broncos. I meant Broncos.
Yeah. Wow. The Bengals ate the Broncos. Spooky. Ooh, Fixer. The Bengals eat the Broncos. What do you think about that? Ooh. I'm going to go with the team that isn't the Chargers here. I'm not sure whether that's the Broncos or the Bengals, but whichever they are, they should be able to go around flank.
It's the Broncos.
Not D-E-Ed. C-I-N.
That's the wrong game.
Yeah, you said the Bengals. They're fighting the Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals. Nah.
I just typed that in the wrong cell, that's all. Cleveland Browns at the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are in control of their own destiny after beating the Rams last week. A win and they get the division. A Steelers loss and they get the division. The Browns would absolutely love to throw a monkey wrench into the Ravens' plans. It'll be a scrappy game, but I expect the Ravens to win.
Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again, I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. Surely, said I, surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then, what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more. Ravens win.
So are you saving like later verses for the playoffs then? Are you banking on this? What if the Ravens lost and they don't get into the playoffs?
Then we'll have to contrive some way to discuss the Ravens team regardless. Maybe you could like compare a play like a team made to play the Ravens made. We'll work it out.
All right.
Unless you want me to read the rest of the poem now, I can.
No, because the poem is a lot longer than people think it is.
Yeah, I can read it. I'll do it. Do you want me to do it? Because I will. I'll do it.
Nope. Indianapolis Colts against the Tennessee Titans in the Sunday evening game. This may be the game of the week, along with the Bears-Vikings. Winner of this game is in the playoffs. Loser will require the Texans to lose in order to get in. I hated Titans games all season long. You never know what team is going to show up. Colts have been a little bit more consistent, but they have a couple duds on their hands too. I'm going to go with the Colts, but would not be shocked to be wrong here.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty torn on this one too. I mean, you would expect, a Titan, like you get from the Mythic Age to the Titan Age, build the Titan Gate, and then the Titan comes out. You expect the Titans, no fixer, no fixer. Don't put in your IND. No, bad. So you would expect the Titans to be able to pulverize Colts, but yet, I mean, last week the Colts beat the Giants, and the Giants are basically a discount Titan. So if they can get discount Titans, then maybe they can beat the Titans themselves. I mean, maybe they're running away and the Titans like slip and fall. Not Mexico. Okay, whatever. But and then I realized that this is my chance. This is my one chance to win the podcast. It's like Quidditch and catching the snitch. It doesn't matter how far behind you have to catch the snitch. You have to go for that possibility, no matter how small it is. It's like in Hearthstone. You have to play to win, not play to survive. And therefore, not Antarctica, and therefore, I predict that there will be a tie between the Indianapolis Colts and the Tennessee Titans. Woo!
All right. In order to win the podcast, you're going for it. Hail Mary.
Giddy up.
Featured game of the week is the San Francisco 49ers at the Los Angeles Rams, which is being played at 4:25 on Sunday. The 49ers started in 1946 and joined the NFL in 1949 as the first pro team of any kind to be based in San Francisco. They're named after the settlers during the 1849 gold rush, and they've been in San Francisco for their entire existence. The Rams, they started as the Cleveland Rams in 1936. They moved to LA in 1946 following winning a championship, making them the only team in professional sports to move immediately after winning a championship. They left LA to go to St. Louis after the 1994 season. Then after the 2015 season, they moved back to LA where they remain. They were named the Rams in 1936 because their GM was a huge college football fan and loved the Fordham Rams. And if Fordham doesn't sound familiar to you, that's where Lombardi played from 1933 to 1936. Anyways, the Rams are playing for something this week. With a win, they'll get the second seed. If they lose, they still can get it if the Bears also lose, but don't think they're a lock here. Gurley is out this week. San Francisco can focus on shutting Goff down, and he won't have Gurley to fall back on. San Francisco put up a fight against the Bears, losing only 14-9. Don't be shocked at all if they beat the Rams this week. In fact, I'm going with it. 49ers win in an upset, unless by some miracle Gurley plays, which he shouldn't.
The Rams can fly!
Yeah, you're right. Does that mean they're going to win?
Yeah. I mean, we have our little minor dudes going around with their pickaxes, and then suddenly a ram just like goes, whoosh. How can you beat that? How can you lose to that? Quick question on rules and procedures. So if I predict that the Colts and the Titans will tie, but then Diesel just so happens to override that guess with a Colt or a Titan pick, would I still have the potential to win the podcast because I myself predicted a tie, or would Diesel's guess overwrite that ability?
Diesel's guess would overwrite that ability. You're at Diesel's mercy with that.
Okay, so for this week, Diesel will not be correcting one of my games, but he will be correcting one of Fixer's games.
Ooh, the twist! Does he get
dun,
free
dun,
reign
dun!
on whichever game he wants to switch?
Yeah.
Okay. I can go with that.
Giddy up. Will we sing our duet now?
No, we will not. We will talk about the playoffs and how things are going to work in the playoffs. The podcast is obviously going to be a lot shorter in the playoffs since there's much fewer games. What we'll probably do is we may bring in another person, a guest, in order to make like a challenging pick to us, just for shits and giggles. Sound fun?
Ooh, you said a bad word, but but remember that if the podcast is shorter, then that leaves us more time for verses from the Raven.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
If the Ravens make it, it'll leave us with one verse for the Raven.
What? But what if we run out of Raven games? What if we...
The Ravens... No. The Ravens can... Wait, let me see.
I mean, there's like 12 verses left to read, and there's only 4 games, so you don't have to give it at least 3 verses per week.
Wait, I'm double checking how many games the Ravens could possibly play for the rest of the season. They will certainly win their division, but they're not going to get a bye. I don't think. I don't think it's well. I don't remember if they had a tiebreaker versus the Texans, or the Patriots. So it's hard to say. I would have to look up a whole bunch of numbers in order to get that. So it's possible they could play 4 more games.
Okay, so that's 3 verses per episode.
Is that how many verses are left?
I don't know, probably like 12. Okay, let's do our thing. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, 11. And there's 12 left, but then I recited the last verse in the first verse. So there's sort of 11. I'd like to make it 12, but 11 if it has to be. So yeah, that's 3 verses per week. Yeah, that'll be fun.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching or listening.
Bye!